Mr. Ghostcrawler, World of Warcraft PvP development team, members of the Twitch TV Bailamos, my fellow Azerothians, I address you all at a moment unprecedented in the history of Azeroth. I use the word unprecedented because at no previous time has Azerothian security been as seriously threatened from without and within as it is today. The issue I'm addressing is the state of WoW PvP and the upcoming 5.2 patch. Unfortunately, the issue is one-sided. There is a very great deal to say about cheating, broken ladders, a lack of competition. However, much less to say about Blizzard's moderation in patch 5.2, except by and large they've neglected to. Why they should neglect to is an interesting question, perhaps more of a psychological business phenomena than a proper debate. And yet, whatever the reasons, on proper ethical grounds, Blizzard Entertainment, World of Warcraft PvP development, and its head, Greg Ghostcrawler Street, has abandoned us. There is no simple way to approach the problem that Ghostcrawler is trying to solve. It reads like an extra credit question on Sun Tzu's famous novel, The Art of War. You have 10 players in full dreadful blue honor gear. Your opponent has full, malevolent, purple, tier 2 elite gear for its own 10 players. What can you do to avoid humiliating defeat? What you don't do, I say, is do what the elite team does. If you do what the elite team does, you'll lose every time because they're doing it at 30 item levels higher than you, with far more experience than you, including tournaments. You just can't keep up. The problem is that there are rich players and there are poor players. There is unfair competition. If the poor people try to play like the rich people, they will lose. The runt of the litter always dies. And so the poor team is forced to strategize, rather than mongoloid teamfight in the middle of the map. And if the WoW PvP scene was even close to rational, then all the real talent would flow to rich teams, and poor teams would never stand a chance. And yet, history says otherwise, and yet, my team said otherwise. Throughout the seasons, we stood a chance. Against teams with superior gear, multi-rank 1 experience, BlizzCon tournament winning experience, we stood a chance. Why? Oddly enough, it seems Blizzard has not asked this very question. Instead, they opted for a simplistic pseudo-solution, one that looks good on paper and appeases the masses, but does nothing to address the root problems of unfair competition. This is the same Blizzard that has allowed the rated battleground ladder to flourish with exploitative, win-trading teams that have destroyed it, hyperinflated MMR and rating. It's made a complete mockery of each and every decent PvPer in this game. This is the same Blizzard that can't issue a simple 5-minute fix for a glitch on the armory that shows every rated Eye of the Storm as a loss, no matter what the outcome. This is the same Blizzard that allows DDoSing, a federal crime, to wreak havoc upon its subscribers without uttering a single, solitary word on the matter. This Blizzard has abandoned us. Now, I'm certain that lesser players, lesser competitors, the casual in the WoW PvP scene is delighted to see the rich players constrained, to know that they will have better gear now, without even trying. I'm sure because this suits their purpose. They will throw the best pity party this side of the Last Supper. And I'm sure they'll tell Blizzard that their inability to access Tier 2 meant that no matter how well they performed, they could never quite catch up to the competition. Which is the opposite of the truth. I can tell you all from my own personal experiences. Over 4,000 rated Battleground wins. Winning the very World Series of RBGs, that the main thing people care about is winning. We've won without gear, and the rating rose up. And then we won gear because of it. And we've also lost with gear, and our ratings went down, and we lost teammates because of it. Now, assembling gearless nobodies into a ruthlessly efficient rank 1 RBG winning machine and watching them become somebodies has always been one of the greatest pleasures of running my underdog team. Moving on. Now, there is an epidemic failure within this game to understand what is really happening. And it leads people like Ghostcrawler to misjudge the players and mismanage PvP changes as a result. The people designing WoW PvP think in terms of the casual player. And yet your goal should never be to play casually. Your goal is to win. In order to win, you need to improve. People without Tier 2 could not get there because they did not improve. Blizzard, no doubt, wants to believe that the trouble was lack of gear, not stupidity. They have an obvious financial interest in patch 5.2, concluding that by removing rating requirements, we somehow balance the equation and improve competition. It's Blizzard's own flavor of socialism, Obamacare for PvP. These poor players without gladiator titles, without Tier 2 weapons, equip them with better gear, and they'll be just as equal. Many people don't want to hear what I have to say. It threatens their livelihood. It threatens their jobs. They are all dinosaurs expiring away, sitting on their ass in their computer chairs. People like this making decisions know just about as much as competition as they do about fornicating with women. Since the permanent formation of Azeroth under Blizzard Entertainment in 2004, most of the periods of crisis in our history have related to conflicts of balance. Now a new threat has emerged. DDoS. Now, the Alliance and Horde standards wave proudly over our capitals, Stormwind and Orgrimmar. DDoS terrorists who once occupied our modems now occupy cells in their mothers' basements. DDoS leaders who urged followers to sacrifice their internet connections are now running from their Horde and Alliance alike are now allies against DDoS, and will be partners in rebuilding those internets. What I seek to convey is the historic truth that Azeroth as a nation has at all times maintained clear, definite opposition to any attempt to lock us behind a wall of inhibition while the process of free civilizations walk past. Today, thinking of our children, of their children, we oppose enforced isolation for ourselves or any other part of Azeroth. I'm a successful RBG leader, and there is no doubt in my mind what freedom combined with opportunity has meant for me, my network, and my experience on the World of Warcraft. I moved out of a small trade chat pub to the world's rank 1 RBG group. The Bailamos RBG team, like all that play WoW PvP today, owe much to the climate of competition we inherited from seasons past. Climate that gave full scope to the sub 2,200 players that wanted to reach that goal. It was an opportunity for myself and my friends, one that we embraced, that we strove for, that gave us reason to play. And yet, if patch 5.2 comes live as is, we will squander that inheritance by allowing the Blizzard WoW development team to control more and more of our lives instead of relying on ourselves. We need to discover the old truths that when I was a pub trade chat RBG leader, I knew in my bones what freedom of competition is and the role it plays on ensuring the best World of Warcraft PvP environment. I came here today with realistic expectations. I don't think we'll have a pure competitive DDoS-free community by next week or even next season. But that doesn't mean that success is out of reach. It will come in slow, progressive steps. Our weakness is timidity and false expectations, but our greatest foes are surrender, despair, and neglect. So for the sake of our game, I invite you all to get on with a serious program, a free-thinking one. Talk to Blizzard. Tell them to hire actually competent staff to effectively theorycraft and moderate our beloved game. Our enemies today send packets to overwhelm our internets on missions of disconnection and destruction. They embrace tyranny and death as a cause and a creed. We stand for a different choice made long ago on the very day of our founding, 2004. We affirm it again today. We choose freedom and the dignity of every life. Steadfast in our purpose, we now press on. We have known freedom's price. We have shown freedom's power. And in this great conflict, my fellow Azerothians, we will see freedom's victory. Thank you. God bless you all.
You know, I know everyone else is standing up right now, along with me, clapping and applauding.
Thank you. Thank you. Even my dog is.
Even the dog understands where you're coming from with all of that.
It's beautiful to not to cross
You know, that was a
species, but our species
beautiful speech.
Thank you.